So I just wanted to do this quick couple minute video here of the site that I'm working on. So in this place they had some logging done and wanted to have somebody come out and pull the stumps and kind of smooth things out a little bit. There were a couple of large stumps here on the corner which I pulled out, and I used the stump bucket for pretty much pulling all the stumps out. I used my brush grapple for cleaning up brush and this regular loader bucket for moving material around and smoothing things out. I still have a little bit of brush I'm going to pick up and add to the piles, but I took all the brush from the ground, which you couldn't even really see the ground because it was just all brush from the loggers, and put them into these individual piles to make them nice and easy to get to in some wide open spaces, to make them easy to burn when the winter comes. I pulled some stumps out of the yard, smoothed that back out, and I kind of put this little kind of roadway area, walkway area in here. I pulled a huge stump out right here, and at that point I found a bee's nest in the ground, so I'm going to avoid walking too close to that because I don't want to get stung by those things. They look kind of pissed off. Cleaned up all out in here in the woods. All over here, these were all stumps, all pulled out. There's a bunch of stumps out in here, pulled out. Made a couple of bigger, large brush piles here. There was an enormous stump right under where this pile was that I pulled out, and this whole area, which is probably a 20+ foot radius, was just one big crater. Pulled that out. Another big, huge stump right here I had to pull out without killing this little maple tree, which I successfully was able to do. I pulled a whole row of stumps out, fairly large ones, all right through the edge of the yard. And their leach field for their septic system is right here and comes right up to the swing set. So I had to work carefully there. A whole bunch more stumps out here. This is kind of part of the logging road from when they had the loggers come out and cut all these trees down. I'd say it's probably at least a couple acres here that were cut, would be my guess. So all of this open area that you see now was all trees, and when I got here was all just a whole ton of stumps. So I brought a bunch of sand and gravel material in from the back part of their property where they have kind of like a sand pit, because all the material in the ground around here is pretty much all sand and gravel. So there's a hill back there that they wanted to remove, so at the same time of doing that, I was able to use that material for filling in a lot of the holes where I dug some big stumps. This area I'm gonna smooth just a little bit more, but I want to grab my grapple and grab some of this brush out of here and create another pile or two over here. This is the area that I worked on today. This was all brush and stumps when I started, and most of the stumps are now gone. So they basically hired me to come out for 5 full 8-hour days. My skid steer, and basically said, you know, we'll hire you for that and see how much we can get done. And I'm pretty happy because they are really happy with what I was able to accomplish in 5 days. They actually weren't expecting this much to be done, so I'm excited to hear that. So like I said, this was just a lot of stumps and brush, and it's really nice to see it all opened up now. They're gonna start having foliage and stuff growing from the ground now that the sun is all able to get in here. So that's gonna be pretty cool. And 1 second here and I'll take you back to the back part of the property where I've been dumping all the stumps, which is way out down behind that barn off into the woods. So we'll head down there and I'll show you those stumps. I just finished filling this area with a bunch of sand. That was one big stump back here I pulled. Where I'm walking right now is another spot. There's still a bunch of stumps in this area, but I can't pull them because they have a well, an underground propane tank, and some water lines. So probably have to come back with a stump grinder or something. So So I believe they told me that they were planning on having me come back out next year and doing a little bit of grinding and spreading some loam and leveling that out. So this is the back part of the property. I'll take you down back and show you the pile of stumps I created. All right, so here's the pathway down to where the stumps are. And you can see that pile right there. That's the stumps. I've been pulling the sand out of here, this little sand pit area. So you can see I dug the hill out pretty well back here. I used a lot of that material to, like I was saying, fill in where I pulled all those big stumps from. So that's been really nice to have. And then here is a huge wall of stumps. And this hill actually goes way down. You can see this stump is huge. So you can see my shadow on it compared to me. But it goes way downhill off into the woods. And there's a whole bunch of stumps I pushed over the hill too. So there's quite a few. I would have to say at least 100 stumps or so. So it's been a lot of stump pulling. And when pulling these stumps out of the ground, that machine jerks me around pretty good. While working here, I've actually broke a belt on my skid steer, the main drive belt, but luckily it's still under warranty, so they came out and took care of it. I don't think it had anything to do with how hard I was working the machine. They said it just could have been that the belt was loose and it caused it to keep getting jerked on and eventually snapped. So this is the road that leads back up to the main area, and I'll show you that one more time. I'll show you the other pile that I've been working from, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'll show you that. So as I was saying, there's this other pile that I was using to fill things in. This is actually mostly loam, but it's not screened and it's kind of dirty. Looks like there may have been some trash or something in it, so I've been using that when I need to add some fill to the top to make it a little more solid. For the most part it's not terrible, but there's definitely some stuff in there that's been buried in there for a while. Also, this is the barn. On the side of the barn, there was a huge pile of sand here I used. They told me to remove if I could and use it for filling in some of the holes. But the reason I'm not going anywhere near it is I found 2 very large bees nests over there, and I can see them swarming pretty bad. So I'm all set with getting stung. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and hook the grapple up onto the skid steer here and finish this job up. Get the brush picked up, clean some stuff up, smooth some things out, load the skid steer up onto the trailer, and we'll head home. See you on the next one. Thanks for watching.